guys, it's me, Sam. In this episode, I am going to be sharing my March wrap-up with you guys so you can see all the books that I read this past month. Let's go! So the first book I read was The Gilded Wolves. I read this for Book in a Jar, which is run by G over at Book Roast. We're actually having the live stream wrap-up soon. When I set up this spot, there was no sun. And now there is sun. But I need this spot because I need to put my books on this table right here. I enjoyed this book. It took me a little while to get into it. The beginning of it, they just kind of throw you into the world without explaining all that much. There's magic in the world and there's different houses that control the magic system. This book follows a group of misfits that are trying to steal a treasure and end up biting off more than they bargained for in the end. So yeah, I think I gave this book 4 stars. I enjoyed it. Not my favorite, not my least favorite. Definitely, if you're going to pick it up, give it at least 30 pages before you DNF it. The plot picks up and it's not as confusing as the book goes on. The second book I read was Girls of Paper and Fire. I also really liked this book. I think I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars as well. But I also feel like it had the same issues as The Gilded Wolves, where it took me like 30 pages to get into it. The first chapters were mostly about the world building, but it wasn't really done all that well. But the story picked up from there, and I feel like since this is the first in the series, I feel like more things will be explained later. Okay, I gave up. That sun was just too unpredictable. As I was saying, so this book is about a girl's journey. She's in the paper caste. There are 3 castes. The king every year chooses 8 paper girls to come and be his harem, I guess. He chooses one every night and whatnot. She finds herself in a relationship with someone other than the king and ends up in a plot that could change their whole world. Again, I really liked this book. I would say give it like 30 pages before you DNF it. It picks up. There are some triggering scenes in this book, so that is something that you should be aware of if you are sensitive towards that, or it's not something that you like to have in your reads. So, disclaimer for that. My third book of the month was Stalking Jack the Ripper. I talked about this book a little bit in my magical readathon TBR because I am reading the second book for that, and I'll maybe link it somewhere up top for you if you want to go and watch that. So this book is about a young woman who wants to be a mortician and is learning from her uncle amidst the time when Jack the Ripper is stalking London. And she is desperately trying to figure out who it is and to put a stop to these killings. And it ends up being a little closer to home than she thought it would be. I enjoyed this book. I did figure out who done it before the middle of the book. That's something that's pretty normal for me. It doesn't detract from my reading of the book. And it did manage to surprise me in the way that it ended. So, I'd recommend this. I think I gave this one 3 stars. Something to that effect. Not good, not bad, just right in the middle. I'll read on, but it probably won't become one of my all-time favorites or anything. And then I did finish an ebook. It was called The Girlfriend. It's part of the Boss series. All you need to know about that is that it's total and complete smut. a romance novel, and, you know. And I didn't really rate it, but if I was to rate it, I think I would give it 3 stars. And The next book that I finished was Immortal Engines, book 1. I did not like this book, but I couldn't DNF it because I needed to see how it ended. I have a real problem with DNFing books. It's a very, very rare occurrence for me. Even if I'm not enjoying the book, I will still finish it. And a lot of the time it wrecks my reading rhythm, and that's when I fall out of love with reading a little bit. Luckily that didn't really happen this time. I gave this book 2 stars. I really didn't like it, and I'm not going to be reading on in the series. So this is more of a middle grade book. It's about a future where cities are on wheels and go around and gobble each other up. Thomas meets Hester when she is trying to kill one of the higher-ups in the city of London. Adventure to get back to London, her to kill this man, and he just to get back to London. But as the adventure goes on, he realizes that she is right, and in the end they both get what they want. The last book I finished was an audiobook. Now that spring is here, I'm back working outside in my gardens at the golf course, and so I listen to audiobooks while I'm working by myself to pass the time, and I get through so many because 8 hours a day, like, it's a little ridiculous, but it'll just give me more to talk about during my monthly wrap-ups. So I finished Dr. Sleep, which is the second book in the Shining series. There's only 2. I haven't heard anything if he's going to make more. It kind of wrapped that story up nicely. I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars, and the performer who performed the audiobook I really did enjoy. There's a couple things that I thought was kind of weird. Every once in a while when he'd be talking, there would be a word during the sentence that sounded like it was edited in later, which started to bother me just a little bit. But that's such a minor thing that the story overall overruled that for me. So this was a book that followed Danny Torrance, the little boy from The Shining. It followed his journey into adulthood, where he meets a young girl who has The Shining even bigger than he does. And there is a group called the True Knot that take children with The Shining and feed on them. And they have their sights turned on this little girl. And Dan and this young girl have to join forces in hopes of ending the True Knot. Lastly, the book I am currently reading is Strange the Dreamer. I am about 130 pages in on chapter 16. So far so good. I'm really enjoying this. This one has moved to the top of my TBR list due to the fangirling that I've seen, or fan-personing that I've seen on some of the channels that I watch on BookTube. So I'm probably not going to be finishing this in the couple days before April and my Magical Readathon starts, but I'll just pick it back up after, I guess. This is about a boy named Laszlo Strange, who as a young boy was very interested in this mythical, magical city. And one day the name of this city was just plucked from his mind to be replaced by the name Weep. And he goes on a journey to figure out what happened to the city and what is going on. And basically he's following his dreams. So that's it for my March wrap-up. I hope you enjoyed it. So let me know if you've read any of these books and if you agree with me on how I rated them. My co-producer, Moxie May. She kept me company while I ranted about my books. There's the other one. Why do you look like you're wearing a bib, you dork? The doggies and me hope you have a good day, and we'll see you later. Bye!